This is Carl at National RV Detroit. I'm going to walk you through this 2025 Flagstaff MicroLite. Model number 25BRDS. So this is going to be a how-to video. I'm going to show you some of the features and how they work. It's not a floor plan video. It's just kind of a demonstration. Okay, so you start off over here and you have a 30 amp power cord. Okay, it plugs in right here. Your city water hookup, which is the most common way to get water to the trailer, is right here. The port to draw the antifreeze into the system is right here. You'll have to, if you're going to winterize it yourself and de-winterize it yourself, you have to educate yourself a bit on that if you don't already know. But that's the port for it. This is cable and satellite through the trailer to the entertainment area. Excuse me. And these are your drains here. Okay, gray and black tank drains. So after you dump your black tank, you can leave the valve in the open position, like it says on the sticker. Make sure you have it in the open position so too much pressure doesn't build up. Then you can hook the hose at the dump station right onto this port here, turn it on, it'll flush out your black tank. It'll clean it out really well. It'll clean off the sensor so you get a good accurate reading on your monitor panel. So if there's a working hose at the dump station that hasn't been run over, or and you can hook it up, definitely use the flush system. Makes a big difference. As we move on, you can see you have a hookup, a pre-wire for a Furrion backup camera kit. We carry them here. You can get them elsewhere. The main thing is, if you do get one, get the Furrion kit that fits that housing. Okay. Also, while we're looking up, you notice there's a ladder, of course, and the manufacturer states every 90 days you should inspect your roof. So make sure someone goes up there every 90 days and looks at the roofing attachments and the roofing material and make sure there's no damage to either or anything up there. Damage that could be caused by low branches or road debris or what have you. Also look at the sealant. Make sure there's no cracking or separation where water could get through. So you're just giving it a general inspection. If you see an issue, take care of it immediately. Odds are you won't have to do anything for years, but you don't know unless you look. The only way you can see what's happening up there is if somebody gets up there and looks. So it's important to take care of that. Generally speaking, people don't inspect their roofs enough, so you're just protecting your investment, so it's an important thing to do. Okay, and then you have a bike door here, or a storage door. This will, you see there's a latch here, and you can fold this up and you can store 2 bicycles in there, for example, or whatever you want to put in there. You also have a mount for a attachment on the back. You can put a platform there, whatever you want to mount there, as long as it doesn't exceed the weight. I think the weight on this one is, I can't quite see it, that's 300 pounds. So okay, so you have a power awning with LED strip. This is a spray port. You get a coiled sprayer with it, so you can plug it in there for fresh water. This is your cooktop here. See if I can get this with one hand here. We'll see. Otherwise I'll have to set it down. Oh, there it goes. Okay. So they've got a 2-burner cooktop. If you look here, you can see it right there. That is a quick connect for the LP system. So you can connect your rubber LP line right to that, and that's how you get gas to that particular two burner cooktop. You have a small refrigerator, of course. There's another hook up here for a gas appliance. In this case, it's for the griddle. You get a griddle with it, and the rubber hose that you can use to attach the grill to the LP system. It's a quick connect hose. You also will get a metal table that sits right next to it, a utility table. So you get both those. You also get the other half of this bracket for a TV mount. And then of course you have TV signal out here plus power, so you can hang a TV there if you choose to. This is the switch for your rear stabilizer jacks here. One switch controls both rear, and then there's a switch up front for both front. Outside speakers, of course. This is the vent for your range hood. Now right now it's latched shut. There's a baffle in there that you can either push on it, it'll snap shut for when you're in storage or traveling, or if you're venting to the outside using the range hood, the fan in the range hood, you can push up on those little tabs there and it'll pop open and the baffle will flap freely. So you always want it flapping freely when you're venting, obviously. So keep that in mind. When you're not using it, you can just keep it shut. This is just the vent for your furnace. This is your water heater. This is winterized right now and it's empty. So this is your drain plug and your anode rod. It fits right in here, of course. This works on both gas and electric, so there'll be two switches inside the trailer. Never run it without water in it. So when you're getting ready to camp and you put this anode rod back in there, make sure you fill it with water before you turn on the electric heating element or the gas burner, okay? The electric heating element is behind this cover here. Like I said, there's a separate switch, I'll show you that. And then this is the gas burner here, when there's a separate switch for that also. Like I said, never run it without water in it. Okay. Alrighty, so your stairs fold into the trailer, of course. You can adjust the legs on it. If for any reason you can't, if for example, after you park and if you can't close the door, if it binds up, it'll be because this threshold piece here is not flush with this threshold piece here. So what you do is you would retract the legs a little bit. There, right here, if you can see it, there's this there's this metal tab, and you just push up on it. You can extend and retract the legs. Okay. Alrighty. So this smaller crank here is for your power tongue jack. Obviously you have an electric tongue jack, but if it ever happens to fail, you can pull this plug out of the top here, put that crank on there, and you can crank it manually. You get yourself out of trouble. Okay, and then of course you have your switch for your front stabilizers, and then this is just a port basically that's pre-wired for a solar battery charger. So if you wanted to purchase this product, there's a little code you could scan, and it's just a portable solar panel that would plug into there, and it'll charge your battery for you if you're interested in something like that. It's just another pre-wire. Okay, get some light here. 2 LP tanks, 2 30-pounders. You have room for 2 batteries. This has a power inverter plus a solar panel, so I would suggest you ultimately get 2 batteries for it. When it comes to inverting power or storing solar power, you really need to double the capacity by using two batteries. Never, if you do add a second battery, make sure that it's wired so you still put out 12-volt DC. You're just doubling the storage capacity. You don't want to wire it so it outputs 24 volts. Keep that in mind. So just make sure it's done correctly. All these lines here are labeled, so you get a pretty good idea what they're for. Right here, if you can see that right there, that's your kill switch for your battery. Okay, so if you want to shut them off, you just turn that switch counterclockwise and it'll shut it off. Okay, that's your docking light there, and this is the fill for your fresh water tank. I showed you down towards the rear of the trailer there's the city water hookup, right? If you happen to be camping someplace without city water, let's say you're boondocking somewhere, you can pre-fill your fresh water tank right here, and you can use the onboard pump to pump the water. So even though you don't have city water, all your appliances, all of your plumbing will work as though you have city water. So I'll show you where the pump switch is for that also, okay? This is just a reducer to reduce you down to 20 amp if you need to plug into a regular household receptacle. That's your dump hose, an extra collar for an emergency. Your fresh water drain is here. If you can see that white gate valve there, that's to drain your fresh water tank. There's also two more storage areas. You see two compartment doors there, so that's for storage there, okay? So let's go inside. Okay. Alrighty. So as we come inside, first thing we'll see is your keys are hanging here on your faucet, okay? Then you'll look over here and you have your control panel. Your power awning is right here. You can see that I just turned the light on for the awning, so you can see it right there. You extend and retract it right here. Never leave the awning extended when you're not at the trailer. Never leave it out when you're going to be down the road somewhere, because eventually the bad weather will come up and it'll get damaged. So if you're not there, roll it in. This is for your slide room here, in and out. Water heater on gas is there. That's how you light it, gas. The electric component, the electric heating element, is right there. Like I said, never run these without water in the water heater tank. Your water pump is here. The water pump is used to pump water out of the fresh water tank if you don't have city water. It's also used to winterize the trailer. You have heating pads on all the tanks, so your gray, your black, and fresh water tank all have heating pads on them, and you turn those on there. This basically extends your camping season. You can stay out longer in the winter and go out earlier in the spring. Alright, this connect is for your app, okay? These are all just lights like I showed you, and then you have your levels here. Battery, totally charged here. You got all your tanks are on empty, so you're in good shape. Right here is your solar controller. Now right now we're inside, so we're not going to be gaining any amps. So let me just show you here if I can get it to go where I want it to go here. The most important readouts are right here, this one with two readouts on it that just went by. The top line is DC power, right? So you're getting 12.5 amps or volts DC, right? Which is good. Actually, it'll go up higher than that when you're outside and you've been plugged in for a while. So it'll go past 13, and that'll be pretty normal. 13.5, something like that, right? So that's good. This 0.0 right below it, that's the amp gain from the solar panel. Now it's 0.0 because we're inside, so we're not gaining anything from the sun. But that'll change when you go outside, and depending on the climate, the conditions outside. Let's say, you know, is it cloudy or sunny? What time of day is it? The position of the sun in the sky, relationship to the trailer. All those factors affect how many amps that you're gaining. If it starts flashing FUL, it's not broken. It's telling you that the batteries are totally charged. There's no room for storage, so it shut the the solar panel off until the amperage drops in the battery. Then it'll go right back to the normal screens. Okay. So let me go a little farther to show you. It's 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Like I said, this is the most common screen here, the most important one. It gives you DC voltage in this trailer system and the amount of amp gain. So you can read up on it. It also tells you have a flooded battery. If you ever change batteries to gel or lithium, you have to read your booklet, and it'll tell you how to change the battery to lithium or gel or whatever you have. Right now it's flooded because that's the type of battery that's on here. Okay. You can learn as much as you want about the system. If you go to GoPower's website, they got tons of videos, all kinds of PDFs, you know, all kinds. You can learn as much as you want to, basically. So keep that in mind. That's your solar controller for the solar panel. Okay. Okay, so now let's see what else we have here. So I mentioned that this converts and inverts power. So conversion is converting AC to DC power. Okay, so this is your power converter here. So as long as you're plugged into shore power, you have 120 AC at these circuit breakers right here, just like you'd have at home, and they're all labeled, right? So that's kind of like your distribution center for your AC power that you'd have in your house. Then this AC power is converted to 12 volt DC over here. So now you have 12 volt fuses, and they're all labeled here. So you've converted 120 AC to 12 volt DC. So that's where your 12 volt comes from. This is a battery tender, so as long as you're plugged into shore power, it's going to sense how much your battery or batteries, how much energy they have and need. I'm talking about the batteries on the tongue now, and it'll charge them accordingly. So if they're low, it'll send more amperage up there. If they're almost topped off, it'll just trickle charge it. It's a battery tender also. So it's the distribution for your AC power, 120 AC. It converts AC to DC power here, and then it charges your battery also. So that's the power converter. It also auto detects the type of battery you have. Okay, now I mentioned you invert power also. That's done over here. So you go to the inverter. Now this is not the inverter, this is just the controller for it. So don't use the inverter unless you're inverting power. You don't just leave it on. But here we go here. So what this does is the opposite of what the converter does. This starts with 12 volt DC power and inverts it to 120 AC, right? It takes the 120 AC and sends it to your receptacles here. See, it says inverter circuit on it, if you can read that. The reason you have this, if you're camping out in the middle of nowhere and you have, let's say, some AC appliances like a blender or a coffee pot or something, and all you have is DC power, you can invert the power from the battery from 12 volt DC to 120 AC, plug in your appliance, and you can run it off of the battery. So that's the reason you have it. Like I said, you don't invert power just because you can. Only do it when you need to do it. So this sends, when it's inverting, it sends 120 AC to your receptacles. Okay. That's why it's important to have two batteries for storage. Okay, so you hold it in for a few seconds to shut it off. There it goes. Okay, all right. Hopefully I'm doing all right with this. I'm not having a little bit of trouble this morning. Okay, more than usual anyway. So far we've talked about converting power, which is starting with 120 AC and converting to 12 volt DC. We talked about inverting power, which is starting with 12 volt DC in the batteries and inverting to 120 AC so you can run a small appliance. And we talked about the solar panel and how to read this panel. Like I said, you can read more about it. It has some other functions too, but it's up to you. Okay, so this has a Murphy bed, which you already know that. You just unlatch it and you fold it down. You jackknife this flat to fold the Murphy bed over. During the day you reclaim the space. It's a great idea. It gives you the space of a much larger trailer. You just reclaim it every morning, okay? It has a footrest. Here's the ripcord for it. You have a vent here, obviously. You have a power vent in the bathroom here, which is you have a cover on this vent. Plus, it's 4-speed, so it's the first two speeds you can barely hear. The second two really crank. So it's a really good fan. See that we're in the bathroom. We'll talk about that a little bit. You have a GFCI here. Keep in mind every receptacle in the trailer is wired to a GFCI. Even though if it's a regular looking duplex, it's still wired to one of the 2 GFCIs in this trailer. Even the plug on the outside. So if you're using something outside and it pops, you're going to reset it at one of the GFCIs. Anytime you lose power to a receptacle, always think GFCI, okay? The toilet works like all RV toilets, in that it sits right over a black tank. You have a flush pedal right here, if I can bend around to show you, right there. So when you get to the campground, you hook up your power and your water, of course. Then you're going to come in here. You're going to dump a dose of chemical right into the bowl. You're going to step on the pedal and hold it down until you put at least a gallon of water in the tank below along with the chemical. You can use more than a gallon of water, just don't use less. People generally use more, so keep that in mind. If you don't do that, it's considered using it dry. It'll get clogged up, it'll smell really bad, it'll just be a mess. So you have to use chemical and water anytime you're starting with a tank that's been dumped. So, okay? Alrighty, that's the same rule for all travel trailers. Now this is another device, an eco device. Why he's got this unscrewed here, I don't know. Well, I'll screw it on later. I'm not going to mess with it now. But you come over to here. What this is a water recirculator. It circulates water around in a loop, basically. The loop goes from here to the water pump, to the water heater, and then back to here, round in a circle. The reason is, normally when you're heating up your water to take a shower, you waste the water. Perfectly good drinkable water goes down the drain. So you're using up water. In a lot of areas have drought conditions, that sort of thing, so you're not really allowed to do that. And second of all, you're wasting space in your gray tank. You're wasting storage space with fresh water. So what you do is you're going to go to this position down here. You can see the symbol there of the water circulating around in a loop. So you'll put in this position, turn on your hot water, and you'll watch this. This right now is blue, of course, but it'll turn a beigeish color. When it turns a beigeish color, it means that the water's hot. All right? So when you see that, then you're going to put up to this position here, and you see the picture of the shower there, and that's a regular shower. It'll come out of the shower head just like normal, but it'll already be heated up without wasting any water. Okay? So it just saves water while you're heating it up, so you don't waste perfectly good water, and you don't waste space in your gray tank with perfectly good water. Okay? You can learn more about that. You go to all these different attachments and components. They have websites, and they'll generally have more information if you need it. They'll have videos, all kinds of stuff. You also have a packet that will tell you a lot of this information too. So you can learn as much as you need to. Okay, so this is your griddle right here we talked about. Okay, that hangs on the outside on that rail on the outside. This is your ladder, obviously, to get up to here. Now I saw some stuff here. There we go. All right, so this is the quick connect right here for your griddle. This end goes in the back of your griddle, and then this end attaches to the quick connect underneath the trailer. These are just some touch-up crayons and markers. This is the other piece of the TV bracket on the outside. I told you you can hang a TV out there. You have the remotes here. Okay. These two are jumpers. If you want to hook up a second battery up on your tongue, you use these to do it. Just make sure you do it properly, so it still outputs 12 volts. You're just doubling the storage. This is to hook up a TV outside also. And these are toilet paper holders, towel rack. Most people don't use them because it's very hard to hit a stud. It has 1-inch square aluminum studs in the walls. Most people use the type that sit on a stand and then you can stow them away. But it's up to you, okay? Alrighty. You should always travel with this table in the down position because it can bounce around and break something. To collapse it, you push this to the right and then you collapse it at these seams here. And it'll sit right down on these cleats. And there's Velcro on the table, so it sits on those cleats. It's best to always have it in the down position when you're traveling. Emergency window, of course. Let's see here. Okay. What next? I got to pick up the pace here because I only have a half hour and I got off to a slow start when I was speaking to you. All right, so this is a swing out bracket. It also locks into place. It's not just a TV, it's also an FM radio. It has Bluetooth. It also has two speaker zones inside the trailer and outside the trailer. So you can stream from your phone with it. You can listen to FM radio. You can watch regular antenna TV. And so on and so forth. You could hook up a portable Blu-ray player to it if you wanted to. Whatever you need to do. This works like any other microwave, of course. This is the range hood we talked about in the fan. Remember, if you're using this fan, you want to open that baffle on the outside so it flaps freely. Light here. Let's see what we have here. I don't know if he's got the gas turned on right now, but basically all you do is you got three burner knobs here for the 3 burners. You're just going to turn it on and then depress it. It looks like he's got the gas off. And once it lights, you still hold it in for a few seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then this is the oven here. You do the same thing with it. You go to the picture of the flame. There's a pilot light down here. When you push it in, and you can see it wanting to spark or wanting to light. Once it lights down there, you still hold this in. Keep it depressed for another 10 or 15 seconds to heat up the thermocouple. Then it'll stay lit. You go to whatever operating temperature you want. It cycles as an oven does. When you shut it off, the pilot light goes out, and you have to relight the pilot light each time you use the oven. Okay? You have an ambient light, and then you have an oven light here. Always travel with this closed so it doesn't break. Okay, I think we're getting there. This is for if you're interested in getting better public Wi-Fi for your family. This also says 5G on it. Most people aren't interested in the cellular component, but if you scan this, you can see the options for kits they have. You can get one to basically, it has an antenna on the outside. There's a place to hook it up there already, a port, and then a router box sits right here, and it just gives you better public Wi-Fi, better, stronger signal, that sort of thing. So if your family uses a lot of Wi-Fi, which I'm sure they do, you might be interested in that. It's a pre-wire. Okay. The refrigerator is a 12-volt DC refrigerator. Okay. You can shut this refrigerator off if you want to. You do want to when you put it into storage. The idea is that when your solar panels, because it's a 12-volt DC refrigerator, the appliances will compete for 12-volt DC. Your only source is going to be the solar panel charging the battery. So this will gobble up enough of it so you won't be able to charge your battery when it's in storage, because this will be trying to use it, right? So it's best to shut it off when you're in storage, so it's not competing for the power, and then it just lets your solar panel keep your battery on the front end charged, or your batteries on the front end charged. So keep in mind, it's good to shut it off to save energy when you need to. Okay. There's a thermostat here. Okay, here it is. Thermostat is very simple. You just push the button till you see the flashing right there. It's off, so you can go to the right, cool, heat. So then you would push it again, and then it says 75 degrees, which is good. If you wanted to change it, you can scroll either way, but then you push it. So now it's set on heat and 75 degrees. You can do the same thing for air conditioning, it's all self-explanatory. It works like any other thermostat. It's just a more modern version of it. So I'll shut it off here. You get the mode to flash, and we'll go to off right there. Hit it, shut the fan off, and it'll power down. As soon as I shut this off, the flame went off. It'll still cycle through to finish the cycle, but keep that in mind. It lights automatically. You don't have to light anything. You just turn it on and it lights itself, okay? Okay, so I want to thank you for purchasing your trailer here at National RV Detroit. Please remember what I said about inspecting your roof every 90 days. Also, keep in mind that you want to, this is winterized right now, so you're going to want to de-winterize it in the springtime, obviously. But we're good until the spring comes. So there's no water in the system, it's all antifreeze. So you're all set there, okay? Any questions you have when you pick up, we can talk it through and till you're comfortable, and we'll make sure you understand everything and you're confident and happy with it, okay? Thank you very much.